Hey there everybody, Groovy here, coming at you from the Grindhouse, and today we're going to be continuing our little vacation through the subgenre that is the new French Extremity. Today, we're going to be continuing our little trek. Last week we talked about Inside, which I both enjoyed and very much recommend to you horror fans out there. But this week we're going to be moving on to the next film on the list. This week we're going to be talking about a little 2008 French film directed by Pascal Laugier. Today, we're going to be talking about Martyrs. Now, if you're not familiar with the plot of Martyrs, I'll give you the setup real quick. 15 years ago, Lucy was captured by this mysterious cult which kidnapped her and beat her and tortured her. Now, after escaping as an adult, Lucy has tracked down the people that she believes to be responsible, people that are connected to the group which kidnapped and traumatized her for her entire life. And with the help of her friend Anna, she begins to go down a path of revenge, which leads her into the world of bloody insanity and depravity. Now, I am going to get a little bit more into spoiler territory, I guess, because I'm just going to have to explain what I liked and what I didn't like about this film. And what I liked and what I didn't like about this film, I really can kind of break into two parts. We have the parts with Lucy at the beginning of the film, which I really didn't enjoy. And then we have the parts with Anna towards the end of the film, which I didn't enjoy as much. Now, the parts with Lucy to me all made sense. She's seeing this specter of this decrepit woman, which is attacking her and mauling her and mutilating her, right? And she's seeing it wherever she goes. It's just something that's haunting her, something that's following her that she can't get away from. And it is a very effective, if not a little bit straightforward kind of mechanism to kind of personify all of that internalized suffering that Lucy went through. But I feel like they tipped the hat on the reveal that it was just a figment of Lucy's imagination a little bit too soon after they got to the house. I feel like if we would have let that reveal simmer out a little bit, maybe let Lucy hang on a little bit because she dies about halfway through the movie, right? And then the movie shifts focus over to Anna. If Lucy would have hung on for a little bit longer, maybe we could have explored that and maybe gotten some really cool kind of shit out here, because what we did get with the woman is both fierce and abrupt and brutal, and it really does shock you because it takes you by surprise and it kind of comes out of nowhere when you first see her, right? But as I said, as effective as it is, I feel like they move on from that a little bit too quickly. But at the same time, I guess they kind of have to, because if they would have made the entire movie, oh, here is a secret evil personality inside of this person or something that is really the murderer all along, then that gets too close to switchblade romance or high tension, and then it would just seem like a ripoff. So you have to do something different, right? And all of the themes there with Lucy were great. She has the survivor guilt. When she escaped, she thought she left somebody behind, and all of that internalized torture and pain, as I was saying, combined with the grief that she was experiencing, thinking that she had left somebody behind to suffer, and then it turned into this monster inside of her own head, right? Like this reflection of everything that she had endured. And it was a great kind of idea. I just felt like it kind of fizzled out a little bit too soon. And of course, when Lucy comes to terms with all of this, which happens pretty quickly after they get there, and she does murder that entire family, which is pretty badass. I just have to say, the movie just kind of starts to fizzle then after that point, because at that point, if I was Anna, I would have gotten the hell out of there. But then Anna goes snooping around the house. Anna is such a goody-goody in this movie. She's trying to help the torture family when one of them is only injured by Lucy and not outright murdered. And Anna is shocked by the violence committed by Lucy, not just to her victims, but also the violence that Lucy is committing to herself as her mental delusions start to break down, right? And then I get that they're trying to place Anna as being a more compassionate person because she doesn't want to abandon that other woman that she finds with that blindfold when she decides to go snooping around the house instead of leaving like a normal person. And she doesn't make it out in time, and then she ends up getting captured by the group which originally captured Lucy. And now she herself is going to go through the same torture that Lucy went through at the very beginning of the film, which set all of these events in motion, right? And when we move to this point in the film, this is when the movie just kind of loses me, because I feel like they ran out of steam there at this point. Like, I feel like they wanted to tack on something that would make this movie more like Hostel, right? Where they had this kind of illicit group that was kind of involved with everything, and there was this secret organization that was behind stuff, right? And then instead of kind of having like a more clever, kind of interesting visual, they just shift over to just this big guy just bare knuckle brawling down on this tiny petite French girl. And even though it's tastefully shot, most of the time you're not seeing it from behind, it's not slow motion Zack Snyder brutality. It does kind of lean on the edge of bad taste, in my personal opinion. I like splashy, flashy effects. I say it all the time here on the channel. I like splashy buckets of blood hitting the wall, and I like flashy practical effects and prosthetics. I like the artistry that goes into those horror movie effects, right? If I want to see a movie where a woman's being tortured, I would much rather see someone be dissected in a realistic manner with a cool practical or even CGI effect, as opposed to just seeing someone get beaten down mercilessly by someone's fists. I didn't think that that was very creative. I almost feel like it's tacked on, but it's so integral from the plot from the very beginning of that first frame of the film that you know that that's probably not the case, right? So I don't know, man. I think it's maybe just a stylistic choice on my part. Now, the movie does kind of end with Anna being skinned and then her having that kind of Hellraiser kind of look. But again, they just kind of sit there and look at her and stuff like that, and then that's like the end of the movie. Like, I get that they were going forward. This group is all about looking for these people that can go through all this torture and suffering and deprivation so they can transcend physical limitations of suffering and get a glimpse into something greater and beyond the veil, if you will, right? A little peek behind the curtain. And I fully understand that. I just feel like the artistry of the movie just kind of stops at that certain point, and then the movie just kind of tacks on really generic torture tropes, aside from just the cool kind of final scene. And even that, I feel like we could have done a little bit more with that, because at that point it feels like it wasn't so much about Anna's torture as much as it was about those people's reactions, as I said, right? As for whether or not I would recommend this movie to casual horror fans, I would say maybe. If you're the kind of horror fan that leans into movies like Hostel or Saw, or just really likes that kind of torture porn kind of subcategory, I would say maybe check out Martyrs. You would definitely find something to enjoy. But if you're somebody that is really kind of looking for something that's maybe a little bit more sensible and a little bit artsy, I feel like it's risky kind of going into Martyrs, because I don't know, man. The reputation that this movie had before it, I was expecting maybe a little bit more. Maybe that's what it was. I don't know, though. Those are just my thoughts. Tell me what you guys think of this movie. Tell me what you guys think of this review. As always, drop those comments in the comments section. And until next time, I hope you guys enjoy the rest of your day. Stay safe, stay classy, but no matter what you do, make sure that you stay groovy, people. We outie. Bye-bye.